So Hydra, or not Hydra, Nidhoggr, if you're trying to do quick buffs, make sure you have your buff, and it's literally just 2 chainsaws. 1, 2. You could go for 3 if you care more about like your optimal damage and there's another person using Nidhoggr, because you'll get white buff in those situations usually. Well, I should have gotten, unless my buff fell. Hang on. 1, 2, and a third one should be it, right? There it goes. Yep. But realistically speaking, you can just go for a red buff. If you have another person also using Nidhoggr and spamming this, I would go for white on my my marker before I actually detonate it. Simple.
Attacking target. Nidhoggr. Markers compounded. Target weakened.
And that's basically it. Also, if you're like getting knocked out of your attacks a lot, so a big part of Nidhoggr too is being able to deal with incoming attacks. So you have to like time your shit. Notice how that's a super long attack.
Nidhoggr overboost. Stand by. Target weakened.
You can also just chainsaw, because it's shorter and it's easier to time your attacks in between their attacks.
Commencing fire support. Focusing Nidhoggr. Marker set. Target weakened. Attack negated.
If you're doing just throwing the chainsaws, I believe it's 6 chainsaw throws. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's if you're just trying to play optimally safe.
Marker sustained attack recommended.
Because it's really easy to get knocked out of your ability. Is using a chainsaw better? By far. The chainsaw is faster.
Target weakened.
And it's more damage overall. So if you can get better at doing this and timing your shit, then you're going to do more damage by doing the proper chainsaw combo.
Sustaining firepower. Sustained attack recommended.
If you really want to get crazy with like your optimization when it comes to supporting your group, you technically don't need to re-up your scythe buff every rotation. So what you can start doing as well, if you're like you want to really optimize, you can do a chainsaw or get this started. Go into your chainsaws, right? Or do your throws, it doesn't matter, whichever you decide to go with. Detonate.
Sustained attack recommended.
And then you can throw out a blessed napalm in between instead of re-upping your scythe buff. Because a blessed napalm not only will heal everyone around you, but it'll also just do damage for you too.
Nidhoggr. Marker set. Target weakened.
And you can just loop that over and over again. And the damage isn't bad. The damage is actually pretty solid.
Nidhoggr. Marker set. Sustained attack recommended.
And you're good to go. I need to go reread the M.A.R.S attacks. We forgot about Nidhoggr's PA. Yeah, you want to use Nidhogg's PA just so you build your markers faster. So Nidhogg's PA will be up for I think 3 rotations. If you're perfect with your timing, it's technically 3 rotations. So you could technically do Nidhoggr PA, 2 chainsaws, detonate marker, bless napalm, 2 chainsaws, detonate marker, bless napalm, 2 chainsaws, detonate marker, and then go right back into Nidhoggr held PA. But that's only if you have like perfect uptime. If you have perfect uptime, then sure, that's fine. The only reason I don't recommend the normal after Blessing Napalm is you can do the normal after Blessing Napalm is if you're the only one maintaining the debuff, it's more important you get your debuff up as fast as possible because you're getting more damage for everyone else because you're not going to maintain it perfectly. So you don't want to have any time. You want to have as little time as possible between your detonation, your mark detonations, just because you really just want that buff up because it increases everyone else's damage. So it's maximizing your damage while also maximizing their damage. Also, for anyone who's using Hydra secondary, I had someone ask about like, dealing with incoming damage. This is why I have this in the background.
Evasion succeeded.
If I evade something in attack, you see how I had Hydra's attack come out?
Attack evaded.
If I jump towards him, doesn't work.
Evasion succeeded.
But
Target acquired.
jump back and look at all that.
Evasion succeeded.
I never pressed the Hydra button a single time. There's a few things why I like going with Garm Hydra. Number one, this gap close, absolutely gaming. And honestly, normal attacks, more than enough for what I need to do.
Commencing Garm charge. Attacking target.
And whenever there's an attack that's coming out,
Garm charge complete.
now it would be better for me to use the hold normals on Garm. The only reason I don't use the hold normals is one, they're dangerous. They're going to drain your HP. And they're very animation heavy.
Attack evaded.
Meaning I'm going to miss out on counters. So it's the more dangerous ability as well as missing those counters. And the boss attacks a lot. Like a shit ton.
Target acquired. Demolish.
That's step counter. That's not weapon action. Weapon action guards the ability, which is why I don't use it.
Approaching operation limit.
But if you step counter, you proc Hydra and you proc Fenrir. And the reason why I care about proccing Fenrir is because, one, we're taking Fenrir every time since we have the entire chase sequence, and Fenrir has increased movement speed. You definitely want to have Fenrir. And two, you also can have some pretty good synergy with having Hydra in the background. No, I would definitely use Fenrir, 100%. I would still use Fenrir, and I would still recommend going for step counters if you can, whenever you have the opening for them. Like, honestly, it's kind of a tough call. I feel like if you're playing Nidhoggr, you're not going to really be able to play super optimally. Like, technically you could go Fafnir, and you could go with blocking the attacks that are coming at you, playing with Nidhoggr, and that will probably be better damage for you overall. And the only problem is that during the chase section, you're going to be slower than anyone else that's using Fenrir. Meaning you're going to get to the boss slower than everyone else, meaning you're going to lose out on some damage, which if you're cool with that, that's fine. But I prefer having that extra speed personally. If you get good at playing Garm, like really good at playing Garm, you're not taking any extra damage, you're dodging every attack, and you can actually use your held normals, it's more damage, technically, to go in with held normals as much as possible.
Commencing Garm charge.
But the thing you have to keep in mind is the boss is not going to attack this little and this rhythmically. So you're not going to be able to put yourself in a position where you're going to be like super safe. And your heal on Garm normals is fully dependent on your heat level of your weapon, right? So you heal more the higher your heat level is. And that healing goes up and up and up and up and up for you. So in most situations, when you need the healing the most is when you're at your low point of just using your detonation. And the detonation leaves you at nothing. So I go from healing from 66 over and over again to 22, which does not feel good. Yeah, Fenrir is also just straight up the strongest. It's the fastest, the strongest, and if you want to keep your buffs up for your team, it's good to have the other options. But the thing is that the faster you get back to your target, the quicker you can put your buffs up. So if you're slow getting back to the target, that means that you're going to miss out on some buff time. So looking at the sub weapons, right? So Fenrir, you have the increased movement speed, you have the lowest support interval attack time, and the enhancement time is 30 seconds. This doesn't matter because you're gonna be enhanced immediately almost when you jump into your M.A.R.S, since you're gonna be in M.A.R.S the entire time, right? So the enhancement time is 30 seconds like it is for everyone else, but this is not really that big of a deal when it comes to different M.A.R.Ss. So you've got Fenrir add attack, which produces an additional attack whenever you dodge and you have a double dodge. So you can dodge twice in a row. If you have multiple attacks coming at you, you can dodge and dodge again. Like there's no lag time between them, which is really, 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 really nice. So Fafnir is nice. What Fafnir's got for you is damage taken is lower. You automatically produce your support attacks. It takes longer for your support. I think it's actually the longest, right? Let me see. Yeah, Fafnir is the slowest attacking one, but it also reduces the damage you take, which is nice whenever your HP is under 70%. So if you're under 70%, you get 25% damage reduction. Very, very comfortable. It's actually one that I know a lot of other support players like to use just because you have the added damage reduction, considering that you might be in a situation where you're chainsawing and you're taking a hit. You have that damage reduction whenever you're under 70% HP, which is nice. Gives you time to heal back up. So if you're using Nidhoggr, you're probably not using Garm. For the most part, if you're using Nidhoggr, you're not using Garm. So you're not going to have like self-healing, like free self-healing. So this is pretty nice. You also have Fafnir D-Ban. Fafnir D-Ban procs after 30 seconds. Basically makes it so you take less damage. Pretty nice. Pretty comfy. Extra defense. So this is, again, more support. And then you also have Fafnir Add Attack, which has a cooldown whenever you successfully nullify an attack. Whenever you nullify an attack, you do an attack, like basically you shoot out a missile, and that has a cooldown of 10 seconds. This has a cooldown of 5 on every step counter. So you start to see where the damage difference comes in, yeah? This is very defensive oriented, which is nice from a support aspect. This is very offensive oriented. You also have Lindworm. So Lindworm gives PP recovery rate, which is nice. But to be perfectly honest, not really necessary. PP recovery rate's not really that important. And the support attack time is in the middle. So it's 9 seconds between this 12 seconds that is Fafnir and the 6 seconds that's Fenrir. So it's pretty solid. You also have Lindworm Jammer. Lindworm Jammer reduces damage taken. Pretty comfortable. It's basically like a debuff on the target. Basically means that they do less damage to you. It's 5% damage reduction. That's nice. And then you have an add attack that just happens after you hit the enemy 40 times. That's not the easiest to proc all the time. So it's the least that you have to like input anything to get, but I feel like it's also the one that has the least amount of uptime. While Lindworm reduces the damage everyone takes, Fafnir gives a damage reduction buff of 10%. Fenrir is just straight damage. Won't Nidhoggr proc it fast because of double hits? It's still 40 hits. 40 hits is kind of a lot. Nidhoggr will probably proc it the fastest of all of them, but like it also kind of matters the least. Because like if you're playing Nidhoggr properly anyway, you still would proc Fafnir faster than you would proc Lindworm. Because of the number of attacks that you're taking in the first place, you're gonna negate attacks going into your attack, right? Every 10 seconds versus getting 40 hits every 10 seconds. You could easily negate an attack every 10 seconds versus going for 40 hits every 10 seconds. Like Lindworm is something I would suggest if you were purely playing like Hydra maybe, and you don't want to deal with sidestepping. But you're definitely going to negate an attack once every 10 seconds. So like it's just Fenrir ends up being the best of all of them. Fafnir's not bad, but I would definitely go Fenrir. A lot of people like to go Lindworm because they're like, oh, it doesn't require me to even think. It's there and then it just does the thing, you know? Yeah, overall, I would highly recommend getting used to Garm Hydra if you're going for just pure damage, Nidhoggr Hydra if you are trying to support your team.